I don't remember. Hi everyone and welcome to this video. In this video I am going to make a few little hammocks for my rats. And this is going to be a sewing video, but it might not be for all of you who wanted to watch some clothing or some cosplay, so I'm very sorry about that. And yeah, I thought I needed to make a few hammocks for my rats, and why not make it into a cute little tutorial kind of video. So I hope you can enjoy the video, and if you're going to sew together with me, then I am really looking forward to see your hammocks. What I normally do is I have this fleece blanket from the dollar store. I do not know the sizes exactly, but I first always cut out some big pieces for the bottom trays in my cage, and from there on, you see I have cut out one big piece right now, so that is like the bigger piece. I got also some half trays, and usually I can cut at least one big one and one half one out of one fleece blanket. Maybe I can cut it a little bit more. It depends on how big I cut them and also how I lay it down. I do not pattern anything. I just measure it out and then just cut along. And the scrap fabric I have left, I cannot use for a bottom tray. So that is the fleece fabric I am using for my hammocks. The first hammock, we are going to make just a normal square. And yeah, it really depends on how large you want your square to be. So I am kind of measuring, like I do not use any patterns or something. I just think like, oh, that's a good measurement, that is big enough, or that is small enough, or something like that. So I am measuring from the side, and I am going to cut it at 30 centimeters, I think, because that's pretty big, but you also need some seam allowance, so it will not be exactly 30 centimeters. So that's how I'm going to cut it, and since it's a square, it is 30 centimeters this way and 30 centimeters that way. And all you have to do is cut out two squares and also some little rectangles for the loops, but I will get on that later on. Because I like the aesthetic, I am going to use this as the bottom one, and this one, this minty green, is going to be on the inside of the hammock, just because I like the looks of it. If you want it one color, then you can do it one color. If you want multiple, do multiple. Do whatever your heart desires, or whatever vibe you want to have in your cage with your rats. And for this one, I thought, well, in my opinion, those two go together very well, because this is like a brownish gray. So I think that will look very nice with the lighter color on top of it. The straps, I am going to make just one long tube, and not this big though, but I will shorten it in, and then I sew a straight stitch, well, to just make a long tube, and then I flip it inside out, and once it's flipped inside out, then I cut to the sizes I want for my hammocks. But do keep in mind, you don't cut like one size, you need to fold it over later, so it will become a strap. So double the size how long you want the strap to be, and you need 4 straps in total, because you have 4 corners on your square. I have sewn my little tube, and I cut them up in 4 little pieces. Each piece is around 10 centimeters or so, because as I said, you're going to fold them down. They could be like 10.5 centimeters. I do not take the measurements very precise, because it is just a hammock and they are going to destroy it either way. So, yeah, that's why. But you also need to remind that you are going to sew along over here. So there is going to be a little bit off, and then this is roughly what you end up with. But before I am going to sew these onto the onto the hammock itself, I am going to clip it down, and I have now those two squares. I have them neatly stacked on top of each other, and in between I'm going to put these in the corners, and the loop needs to be inward, pointing to the center, because once you sew across everything, but you do need to leave a little gap so you can flip it inside out, then the loop thingies are going to stick out, and this part is on the inside. So that's also a reason why you do not have to finish it, because it's going to be on the inside. And yeah, then you can sew it all together. Before you flip it inside out, you still have those corners. So you do need to cut it diagonally on all of the corners, and then you can flip it inside out. And something I always do with my hammocks is I'm going to stitch around it, and that also will secure the little loops a little bit more, because now you only have like those small corners you have secured with the stitching. But yeah, I feel like it needs a little bit more support, especially if you have multiple reds. Of course you have multiple reds, but like, I mean, we have 3 reds, and they are all 3 going into one hammock. So I want the hammock to be sturdy enough that they do not, like, it doesn't break and snap into everything, so they can still lay in there and I do not have to worry they falling out of it. So that's the reason why I am securing it even more. Also because of the loops, and because you have the little gap before you turn it inside out. And what you also can do, if you want it or if you like it, I think it secures it a little bit more, but I never do it, is that you make a little quilting pattern on top of it, so you can stitch like that or anything. But that's totally up to you. You can do whatever you want with with your little hammocks, because those are your little hammocks and they are for your baby reds. So why not do anything with it you want? Before I am going to show you the second hammock, I got a little bit of a very sad update, because earlier I told I want the hammock to be pretty big and sturdy, because then all of my reds could fit into one hammock. And sadly, one of my baby girls has passed away. Her name was Lily, and I will put a picture up here. But yeah, so that happened, and I'm quite sad about it as well. So I took a few days of sewing the hammocks, because it was all a little bit overwhelming, as you might relate maybe to having a loss of someone you love, like a pet. And yeah, so I wanted to share that with you. So now I have two of my rats still left, and they were all the same age. So yeah, so I got Luna and Lucy still, and I am very happy that they are cuddling up to each other. So yeah, so I will still be making the rest of the hammocks. But yeah. Now they have a little bit more room inside of one of the hammocks. So that is what I wanted to tell you all, because of what I said earlier, that I said I had 3 rats and now I don't have 3 anymore. So yeah, it's pretty sad, but I wanted to give you a little update. If you want to see a little bit more about my baby Lily, then I already posted a short about her, so go watch that if you want to see a little bit more what kind of rat she was. So if I can, I will link it up here or something. But yeah, and with that, I still do want to continue because I still have 2 loving rats left, and yeah, they both do deserve those cute little hammocks, so I will still continue on. The second hammock, you are going to do the same as the first one. Everything I did over here is the same as I did in the previous one. I liked some little wavy stitch lines. So now you have the same as the first one, just the regular square. And what you are going to do now for the double one is you are going to make 2 squares, like as I did with both different colors and same size, but you are not going to make the loops, and you are going to make it smaller. So I did 22 centimeters. That's what I cut out. So it will be smaller when you have the end result. And yeah, I did everything as I would normally do with the single one, except for the loops. As I said, you sew it together, you turn it inside out, and you sew a little top stitch around it. And now the next thing you are going to do, these are going to be on top of each other. And what I would like to do is I flip it around, so this color will be the outside. And then over here, you stitch a little triangle or anything you would like to, how you want to sew it on top. And you do it per corner, because as you see, this does not line up, and that is meant to be. Because once you have sewn this, then you can attach the other ones, and then this one will be a little bit hollow, and that is exactly what you want, so your rats can lay inside the hammock and also on top of the hammock. The third hammock, it will be a triangle, so you can put it in a corner, and it will not be like very different than the other 2 we already made. This is also a singular one, so the rat or maybe the ferret can only get on top of it and not like higher like the second hammock we made. It is almost the same except for the fact that it is a little triangle. You still need to make 4 of those loop thingies, 2 thingies you sewed, and it sounds maybe a little bit weird because we only have 3 corners, but the rest is the same as the other ones. You need 2 layers of fabric, so you can flip it inside out and everything is finished. It is a little bit more sturdy and soft. And you need the 4 loop thingies I said, and that's basically it. I cut out 2 triangles. Yeah, the cutout wasn't like that hard, honestly. I just took a corner of the fabric, folded it over, and thought like, oh, that's going to be big enough. Also, keep in mind you do need some seam allowance. And then I kept it folded, and then where the fold was, there I cut along, and this was the first piece I cut out. And then I laid it, this piece I laid it on top of this fabric of this color, and yeah, then I just cut out like the same shape. I put it in the corner, like this was the middle corner, which was like over here, and that corner I put in like the same type of corner on this type of fabric. So I just needed to cut like this same line once again, because you do need to keep in mind that this will be like sort of 90 degrees because of the corner in your cage. Does not come that precise, but it is just your preference, what you like most, how neat you want everything, and all that kind of stuff. I have sewed the first part together, and these corners are a little bit tricky because this is the corner which will be like in the cage, and this is the corner that will be in the corner of the cage. And this corner was a little bit easier because I put one strap over here and one strap over here, so that is pointing inwards because we're going to flip it inside out. But these corners are a little bit harder to do because you do not want to catch the entire loop. You want the loop to come out when you are flipping it inside out. So you have to finick it a little bit. Like when I was sewing this part, I was pushing it a little bit towards this side, and once that was done, as you can see, it is not very nice and neat, but that does not matter. And when I was sewing this side, I was pushing it that way, so you can still, I mean, you still catch it in like the little corners of the loop, but you do not want to catch the entire loop inside of the hammock. And of course, over here you need also to snip the corners. And yeah, I left this space open to flip it inside out. I have a little bonus update kind of thing. If you do not know how to sew, or if one hammock takes you an entire day or whatever, then look at this hack coming right up, because it is awesome. It will save you also a lot of time, and the rest love it. I have found some cute little baskets. They were also from the dollar store here in the Netherlands. Yeah, they normally are for in the kitchen, but I thought this is like perfect for if you do want some more space where your red can lay down and sleep and everything, then this is lovely. It is very simple. You do not have to sew anything for this. Just the pieces of fabric you have left from your sewing projects, you can just put them in here, and then that's it. That is it. I had a little strip of fleece left, of course, because I almost every time have a lot of fabric left from these kind of projects. So you can just lay it in here, and I think I am going to layer multiple on top of it, so this wouldn't be as hard for them as it is right now, because this is just one piece folded. I am going to put in some more fleece, and scrap fabrics can be smaller if you want. It doesn't have to be like very fitting or anything. Just dump it in here, and the rest they will figure out a way, like, oh, this is nice, or this is a little bit too much, and they dump some out of it. So that will be totally fine. And I already tested one out because I got 2 of those baskets, and they love it. It is just a little bit more space, a little bit more to do in the cage, and it is a very easy way, if you do not know how to sew a hammock, to just have those smaller spaces for them where they can go and go to sleep or cuddle with each other or whatever they want to do in those little spots. Before I am going to show you the reveal in a second, please consider liking, subscribing, or commenting anything you want if you like this video, because it helps out my channel really much. And let's continue to the reveal. I hope you all learned something from these kind of little tutorial kind of videos and about all the different kind of hammocks. Also, I am very happy I am doing this, and I also want to continue doing this because I just like it that I do not have to throw away the scrap fabric and it comes to good use right now, and it also makes my rest very happy, so I'm very excited about that as well. And yeah, if you learned something, then I am glad, because why not make your own hammocks, because here we do it ourselves. And I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone!